We'll take that forward. Shubhendu, we heard the interview that you took of India's permanent representative to the United Nations, and he was talking about the summit of the future. You are in New York, you'll be covering that summit. Tell us what can India expect from the Prime Minister's statement and India's participation in UNGA this time around?
Munmun, in a recent interview and engagement, the Secretary General of the United Nations, speaking about the summit of the future, said that, well, this summit wouldn't have been required if everything was on track as far as sustainable future is concerned. But the truth is that it's not good news. Things are not on track. The climate mitigation efforts, the deadlines are not on track. Ensuring peace and security in different parts of the world, especially engaging developing countries, is not on track. The idea of reform multilateralism, where global institutions not just represent the concerns of the developing world, of the global south, but also see their equal participation, even that is not on track. So all the major ways in which one could define sustainable future, in fact, is not going in the right direction. It is, to an extent, an alarming situation. And therefore, it is important for the leadership across the world to come together and do some sort of a course correction. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address becomes hugely significant in this context, is because India is one of the few countries that has, in fact, not just managed to achieve some of its sustainable development goals, climate goals, but even exceeded what it had promised, particularly in the domain of renewable energy. Now, then India is also in a position to ask questions about what is the kind of intervention that the developed world and the rest of the world is making to ensure sustainable future. India and other developing countries are doing more than their capacity to achieve a sustainable future for everyone, but has to be a shared responsibility. We understand that the challenges related to sustainable future has the most dire consequences, if not met, for the countries of the global south, for the developing countries whose energy requirements, whose finance requirements, who needs for a peaceful and secure region is perhaps even more important than many of the developed countries. They are the countries which suffer the most. So in this losing the track towards a sustainable future, the biggest victims are going to be countries of the global south and developing countries. And therefore, in this very important summit, which is seen as a course correction summit, India's position becomes hugely significant, and the perspective of the global south, that India, as it's called the leader of the global south, the perspective that India presents is going to be hugely significant.
So India will share its development story. India will be willing to offer experiences as well, especially for the developing world to incorporate in their growth story. A lot of expectations there ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's address to the Summit of the Future at the United Nations headquarters in New York on Monday.